Hey, everybody, welcome to Game Day View. Patrick Claybon, spoiled rotten because I get to sit here with these guys. Greg Rosenthal and Cynthia Freeland talk football while you guys watch, and we're halfway through, Greg. Halfway through the
I cannot wait for this show because actually it's going to be my alter ego this week. 9 that's doing the show. And 9 is actually in first place in the picks.
Oh.
I have summoned all my rage like J.J. McCarthy, and it's going to make me pick better the rest of the season.
Combine that rage into a being that's conscious and aware, much like Cynthia Freeland's model, which has once again supplanted Greg and I. No more crowns for me. The crown is solo on the head of Cynthia Freeland. 85-49 through week 9. Back where we all expected Cynthia to be, at the top.
I just can't get over this alter ego business.
It's fun.
I can't
That's why
stop.
it's going to help me. I'm only 4 back. It's going to help me.
You're fine.
Who needs chips on shoulders when you can create a new person? Let's talk some ball. The Packers and Eagles met up in last year's wild card round. Jalen Hurts threw for 2 scores, including this play where Dallas Goedert went full beast mode on Carrington Valentine on his way into the end zone. Jordan Love threw 3 interceptions in the game. The Eagles won it 22-10 and advanced to the divisional round. If you're just joining us, they would ultimately go on to win the Super Bowl. But now it's a revenge opportunity on Monday night in Lambeau, where the Pack just took a loss to the Panthers. Eagles coming off the bye. Who gets a win, Cynthia?
Philadelphia gets the win, but just by 1 point, 24-23. Not only did Howie Roseman do it again and steal people at free agency, trade deadline, all of those things, but Saquon Barkley, he's still there. And if you break down one of the things that Saquon does really well, where he's rushing really well, you're looking at an inside run here, but you could look to the outside too. And you could find some good matchups against what the Packers aren't defending as well. You can say overall, Packers defense pretty darn good against the run in terms of yards per game given up. They're atop the league, 5th, 6th, right around there. But ultimately, when you're looking at specific runs that Barkley does really well, yeah, unfortunately for the Pack, that is something that is not their strength. So Saquon Barkley, advantage for him.
Yeah, you've got an advantage in the run game. I've got a more comfortable win for the Philadelphia Eagles, 25-20. I think the Eagles' passing game has a lot to do with it. The Packers, one of the best teams against slot receivers, allowing the 3rd fewest yards in the league. Devonta Smith's getting 63% of the time in the slot, so why not have Dallas Goedert playing in tight like he has a lot this season? Maybe not a big highlight like the one he had in the playoffs, but enough to keep the chains moving and maybe get another touchdown. Birds for me, Greg.
I got to say, it's an opportunity here. In a game that I frankly don't know what to do. Let's take the home favorite. Let's get a just Greg. Let's have the Packers win this game because this team is so hard to figure.
Is this 9 picking or Greg picking?
This is actually my real alter ego is 60% G. I think that's better. 9 is taken by J.J. McCarthy. And I want Jordan Love to bring an alter ego this week. He almost leads the league in passes behind the line of scrimmage. So you're seeing a lot of these short passes by Jordan Love this season, and it's a little frustrating. I want him to start airing it out. Only Kyler Murray, who we haven't seen in a while, has a higher percentage of throws behind the line of scrimmage. Let's go back to an alter ego of Jordan Love, and it's like Jordan Love from a couple years ago, who has a little more daring do, who throws the ball down the field. And this is the most confounding team in the NFL, and so I was struggling to pick this game. And I thought, what does the most confounding team in the NFL do? They actually go out and win this game when nobody expected it, at least not on this set. So I'm going to get it right.
Yeah.
You're wrong.
It's 1 out of 3, so it can't be nobody.
I still can't get over if it's 60% G picking or Greg picking.
60% G.
Very confused.
66% G.
Got it. Perfect.
It's time for Get More with Geico. Cynthia, which Eagles receiver is more likely to have over 60 yards in the game? Is it AJ or Devonta?
Well, you talked about it when you were talking about slot situations. They are much more stout against slot receivers, so pick the guy who lines up out wide more often. That's A.J. Brown to have more than 55 receiving yards. When I'm looking at the opportunity in this one, I think he also, see that busted coverage? I know we're watching Minnesota, but that's kind of the thing that he does. Those deep passes will be an advantage, especially with the team that likes to get a little blitzy with it up front.
A little blitzy with it. I like the matchup. It's a great game. That's why we're kind of split and have close scores. Looking forward to Eagles-Packers. Another matchup I can't wait is the Rams and Niners. These teams had an epic matchup back over there at SoFi Stadium Week 5. Here's a quick recap on how that went down.
Mac Jones throws. McCaffrey! And it's a 2 force the Niners to clean. Now the Rams get the football.
4th down and 1. They hand it off right side. Kyron stumbling. He got stopped.
And the 49ers storm the field.
A big Rams-Niners rematch up there in Santa Clara. The NFC West is up for grabs. Who gets their 7th win of the season Sunday, Greg?
It will be the Los Angeles Rams. I actually don't think it's going to be that close this week. 29-17. You just saw Fred Warner's image in that last game. He's no longer on the field. Neither's Nick Bosa. The defense isn't the same. You know who is the same? It's Matthew Stafford. Each and every week, as long as you protect him, the numbers are just outrageous. If you can get quick pressure on him, he's not the same quarterback. You know who's not getting any pressure? The 49ers defense, among the lowest pressure rates in the league, especially since Bosa went out. And ultimately, these are division rivals. Kyle Shanahan's been a tough matchup for Sean McVay over the years. But when you have two teams that I think are really imbalanced, I think the Rams are way more talented right now, and you already lost the first game, it's going to even out in the rematch. I think the Rams get it.
Well, it can even out in the rematch without being that big of a differential, which is what I have, 24-22 in favor of the Rams in this matchup, because there is one guy who is still playing for the Niners. It's Christian McCaffrey. This is someone who averages 158 scrimmage yards in 5 matchups against this team. That's kind of a lot. You know, I think they'd be pretty happy with that type of output in this. And what you see here is this game of chess. I love the analogy. It's very dorky, but whatever. When you see McCaffrey do something like, for example, in the rest of the season, he's really used a lot when he's in motion, 35% of the time. Well, when they play each other, what happened last time? They didn't. Like, they completely reversed that trend. They targeted him on just 2 times of the 15 that he went in motion ahead of the snap. So they're just coming out, like Kyle's sitting there like, ha, 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 I'm going to figure out what to do to get Sean mad. And Sean's saying, ha, 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 I'm going to figure out what to make him mad. So I just think it ends up being a closer matchup. It's more fun for us to watch a closer matchup too.
We just talked about this. I wish I could change my score to completely split the difference between you guys. I've also got a Rams win, but it's not 12, it's not 2. It's a 6-point win because it's going to be, ha, 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 I'm going to get the ball to Christian McCaffrey. But all the plays on the sheet are just Christian McCaffrey. And over on the other side, last time they played, every single play felt like it was Kendrick Bourne. Kendrick Bourne was targeted on 24% of his routes run against the Rams in Week 5. He had 142 yards. He was incredible. Late in the game, you were thinking, well, this ball's obviously going to Kendrick Bourne. It was, and the Rams still couldn't stop him. They've made trades. They've had changes in the secondary. Roger McCreary came over on October 27th. I think, considering the volume of things that had to happen for the 49ers to win that game in SoFi, it's likely, to me, that the Rams win. So yes, Niners fans, your photo opportunity is right here. Send us the meme alert. We are across the board taking the Rams here. Let's head from Santa Clara to the other side of the planet, all the way to Germany for the first ever NFL game to be played in Berlin.
The NFL is in Berlin.
Let's go from the jump, from the jump, from the jump. Dixie, let's go, let's get this done. Good tight.
Burn a hole in the weekend. An unbelievable grab. Out of this town. Touchdown.
Let's go, baby.
Jonathan Taylor. No problem for the great running back, Mr. Robinson. He's in. Touchdown. Oh, my goodness.
Snooze off, game on. The NFL takes the field in Berlin for the first time as the Falcons square off against the Colts. Get ready to wake up and watch, because here our stars come out in the morning. It's Sunday morning football, Sunday, 9:30 a.m. Eastern, only on NFL Network, and streaming with NFL Plus. Subscription required for NFL Plus. Visit plus.nfl.com for terms. Let's break down this matchup. The Falcons and Colts both looking for bounce-back games. Cynthia will be in Berlin for this one. Wer wird das Spiel gewinnen, which is a poorly enunciated way of saying who wins the games.
Das Colts. Indianapolis, I have them winning 28-21. I want to talk about the newly acquired Sauce Gardner. Why? Because this is already a defense that is very good when they rush just 4. In fact, they have the second highest pressure rate when they do that, when they don't blitz, when they drop more guys in coverage. One of the issues that Lou Anarumo has had so far this season is keeping his corners healthy. Well, Sauce comes over. Hopefully he's able to play in this matchup. And what does he do? He provides you that opportunity to travel with number ones, something we've seen him doing all season long so far, and to stay in tight coverage. He has a lot of minutes played in tight coverage. So giving just that one little extra wrinkle and fold into that defense is going to be good. You're going to see a good statistiken from him. Math words.
I love, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but
You're not?
to get Sauce Gardner to the Colts just in time for an NFL Network game and the Berlin crowd getting to see him versus Drake London. And I do want to talk more about the Colts defense. We've given so much attention to the offense over the year. How about Laiatu Latu, the second-year pass rusher who is really breaking out this season? He is in the top 10 in the entire NFL in pressures. He's coming off a big sack performance against the Steelers. He's a defensive end with 2 interceptions this year. You're like, find your guy who can do a little bit of everything. It really reminds me how well Chris Ballard did in that draft a year ago, because Laiatu Latu, the first defender taken, really coming on, and then they drafted 2 offensive line starters in the interior in the 3rd and 4th round, including Tanner Bortolini, who might make an all-pro team. So it's not just about the superstars. They've got a lot of good supplementary players.
It's almost like if you get a homegrown great player and you keep them, good things happen. I don't know. I'm just call me crazy.
Yeah, you acquire the talent, you utilize that talent to try to win. And the conspiracy theorists out there are taking the breadcrumbs from Greg now.
Yep.
The folks that are like, oh, the color is in the border of the
Are
Super Bowl
birds
logo.
real?
It's all going to happen. Everything's okay. I've got Colts. I've got a similar score. I think they score in that area there, 27-23. Because you know what? Dimes is not going to play as poorly as he did last week against the Pittsburgh Steelers. That would have been a bad Dimes game when he was with the Giants. When he was pressured, he completed just 13 attempts for 88 yards and 2 interceptions, but in a clean pocket, the performance was much better, and there was a time where we would get safety Dimes on the retreat, trying to be extra safe. I think maybe that was more play caller than player in that one, and Shane Steichen is not going to let his guy go out like that. Across the board, we are taking the Indianapolis Colts against the Falcons in Berlin. Looking forward to that matchup, which you can see on NFL Network. Rise, shine, and watch. Coming up, we got some AFC powerhouses going at it next door Sunday night. Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers taking on Herbo and the Bolts. Who's got the edge? More importantly, who's going to win the football game? Our picks for Sunday Night Football coming up next on Game Day View.
Colts moving crisply to the line of scrimmage. Under 3 minutes remaining here in the 4th quarter. They get everybody in place at the 250 mark as Jones gets a snap. Back to pass. Looking, pressure coming, throws, and it is intercepted. Joey Porter Jr., first interception of the season at the 40-yard line of the Steelers, as the Steelers now with another turnover. How many, Max?
1 for the other thumb. 6 on the day.
Wow. They were expecting that. They had the 6th thing planned. Time for Seize the Season, presented by Caesars Sportsbook. The first touchdown score for the game between the Steelers and the Chargers. It is the all-time leader in the history of running the football in a single season at Troy University, Kamani Vidal. Jalen Warren, Ladd McConkey, DK Metcalf, and Aronde Gadsden II there. As it's a couple of running backs at the top and then 3 guys that catch the ball. Steelers, Chargers, Sunday night right over there at SoFi. Rodgers and company shocked the top-seeded Colts last week. Do they come into L.A. and take down Herbo, Cynthia?
Yes.
Oh.
Well, I have a 2-point win for the Steelers, 24-22. I want to talk about the defense. Why? Because you saw it with that interception. It was really caused by a bunch of pressure up front. And we're going to play like a very sad song for this Chargers O-line, because Joe Alt being out is a huge deal. The difference when he's playing versus when he's not, it's a 10 percentage point increase, just about a 10 percentage point increase in the amount of pressure that Justin Herbert is under. And these guys are now figuring it out. They really like getting into a good groove. They really got into it last week and caused just a whole bunch of problems for Daniel Jones. Justin Herbert has been under a ton of pressure. I think that continues, thus leading to a 2-point win for the Steelers.
Yeah, I hate to go against Herbo. I love rooting on the Chargers. He's clearly the best quarterback in this game by a lot. He's playing at an MVP level. And yeah, I'm taking the Steelers because you just mentioned all the reasons why the Chargers offense could struggle. How about this Chargers defense? One of the worst in the league against the run. And Jalen Warren and this Pittsburgh Steelers ground game has been very consistent all season. 4th in the league, Jalen Warren, in missed tackles, forced per carry, and they love getting out there with those jumbo packages, and the Chargers don't like matching personnel, and so they're going to stay in what they do, and you get Darnell Washington, you get a 6th offensive lineman out there, and Patrick Claybon will tell you again and again with his anti-Jalen Warren propaganda that he's just a guy, but he's not a guy. I'm the president of the Jalen Warren Committee to make the Pro Bowl in 2025, no matter what Patrick says. Don't listen to him.
Listen to Greg taking a conversation from 2 years ago, completely out of context. I like Jalen Warren. I think the Steelers may score some points. I don't think they will score more points than the Los Angeles Chargers. I think the Chargers win, and I will be all alone and be comfortable with it because doing it all by yourself is what Justin Herbert's going to have to do, and it's what he's kind of done for big parts of the season. This isn't the regular standard version of Justin Herbert. This is the dangerous version, the most dangerous version. And yeah, relying on Trevor Penning to come over and save your season at tackle is a dangerous situation, but on the move, when he's extending plays longer than 4 seconds and buying time, he's got more touchdowns in that situation than anyone else in the league. So I'm fine. I do think, like you guys, the Steelers will score around 20 points. I think the Chargers get more points at home and get a win. Seize the Season, brought to you by Caesars Sportsbook. New users can bet $1 and boost their next 20 bets by 100%. Must be 21 or older. See Caesars.com/promos for full terms.
May waiting on the snap. He takes the snap, he looks to the left, and he throws it for Pop Douglas on a wheel route, and he drops it in the midsection for a Patriots touchdown.
Sexy. So damn sexy.
Receiver split to the left. May back to throw. Fires over the middle. Pitches it to Diggs. Turns right. Sidesteps right to the 5. Throws to the outside. Dives to the pylon. Touchdown! Yeah. Patriots!
And what a run by Diggs to get outside to the pylon.
Drake May and the Patriots on a 6-game win streak. They're heading to Tampa to take on Baker and the Bucs. It was Greg Rosenthal who said a year ago, Drake May is the only thing that matters. Well, now the team is mattering, Greg. They're in the play for the #1 overall seed. Do they win in Tampa?
I don't think they do. I think it's a reality check, and that's okay. They're 7-2. This is the first really good team they've played in a month, and part of the reason I don't have faith is because of the offensive line in front of Drake May. So it's 27-24 Bucs. I think it's a good game, but he has taken 16 sacks in the last 3 weeks alone. He has taken the second most amount of sacks in the entire NFL this season. Remember last year when we said that is one of the worst Patriots offensive lines I have ever seen? He's actually taken as many sacks this year already as he did in 3 more starts last year as a rookie. And then you think about the matchup, and I see communication problems up front with young players, rookies, Will Campbell, Wilson at guard, and you go against Todd Bowles in this defense. I think it's just going to be a little bit of a reality check in that they won't protect him well enough.
I've got a Tampa Bay win as well by 3, 26-23. And Drake May takes those sacks because Drake May tries to hit home runs. He's a great deep passer, but they're going up against a team that has a great player that teams are absolutely avoiding right now in Antoine Winfield Jr. in the middle of the field. He's less than 5% of his covered snaps. He gets targeted. He's right there sitting about 15 yards off the line of scrimmage in the middle of the field, and teams are going elsewhere.
Pow!
And even when they do, he can get over there to the sideline and make plays. I think the defense does enough to get another Baker Mayfield 4th quarter win, Cynthia.
Well, go ahead and give me the prime number. Bleep, 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 bleep. 26-25 in this one because kind of everything that you guys said is true. Of course, the O-line is giving up a bunch of sacks, and of course, Antoine Winfield is also very good. But I don't know if Drake May even cares or knows about this because in those games when he's taken a bunch of sacks, he still has over 200 passing yards and an over 100 passer rating. In fact, he's kind of setting records. He's tied for the 2nd longest streak of such kind of efficiency all time. So I'm not sure it's not to say maybe he just doesn't register as a problem. And I'm looking at this and I'm saying, what does this remind me of? You guys talk about liking Matthew Stafford. Well, you know what Drake May's exceptionally good at, just in that Matthew Stafford realm at? The play after being pressured, completing a pass. The play after being pressured, making it so that his team earns a first down or touchdown. He doesn't care. I mean, maybe he cares, but doesn't seem to matter. He's dealing either way.
I think there's a small part of him that's like, oh no, we lost 12 yards, so now I got to throw deep. Oh no.
This is the first prime number I'm rooting for, by the way, officially for the so congratulations.
Of this one. It's time for Who's Eating Good, presented by Applebee's. Cynthia, Let's talk about the other quarterback. Will Baker Mayfield pass for more or less than 247 yards on Sunday?
I think he passes for more than that. I think it's going to be a close, higher-scoring game, which would mean lots more passing for everyone. Though beware, he has had some interesting results. He's targeted intermediate passes quite a bit, and that's an area that the Patriots have actually been good at defending. So, spread the love around a little bit more, see who's actually playing. But, I still like Emeka Egbuka to score a touchdown in this one, too.
Serving those who serve us. All veterans and active duty military eat free at Applebee's this Veterans Day on Tuesday, November 11th. Dine in only. Still to come, LaMarvelous put on a show during his return last week, just away from his hometown. Now his Ravens have a matchup with J.J. McCarthy and his alter ego, the surging Vikings. Both squads trying to make a playoff push. Our picks for Ravens-Vikings coming up next on Game Day View.
Henry alone in the backfield. Zay Flowers goes in motion, now reverses course to the right. Lamar rolls out to the right, throws quickly, touchdown, Mark Andrews! Walks it to the 10, caught, Andrews in, touchdown Ravens! 2 for 2 for Mark Andrews! Lamar to throw, lob to the end zone, it's a trio of tight end touchdowns. Lamar slings it to the end zone, touchdown Ravens!
It's time for The Read, presented by Microsoft Copilot. Microsoft Copilot, your AI companion for NFL Game Day and every day. We asked which matchup would decide the Ravens-Vikings game, and Copilot highlighted the Minnesota receivers against Baltimore's secondary, a unit that's given up a lot of big pass plays this season, going up against Justin Jefferson, among the league's best in that category. Let's talk more Ravens-Vikings. Both squads looked great in wins last week. Both are trying to stay in the playoff hunt, and I will lead off with what I believe is a narrow win for the Ravens, 27-26. The Ravens relying on the offense, and the thing that the offense is best at, play action. Lamar Jackson is still completing 90% of his passes. When Baltimore runs play action, he's 29 of 32 for 478 yards and 7 touchdowns. The Vikings have given up 5 scores and only 1 interception this season on play action. I don't necessarily think they're going to lock down J.J. McCarthy and company, but enough, Cynthia, to get a win.
Yeah, I think that J.J. McCarthy could be good. I have him scoring 21 points, but I have the Ravens scoring 26 points, which is 5 more points than them. I'm looking at Derrick Henry in this matchup, and here's the difference between what you saw from the Lions and what you'll see from the Ravens. Number 1, you have a quarterback that is a rushing threat on every single down, which is not something you had with the Lions. So now you have to figure out, okay, are we going to try to stop Derrick Henry, or are we going to try to stop Lamar Jackson? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? And I think that Derrick Henry just rolls in those situations. So for me, this is a big Derrick Henry game. The matchup is something where they're going to have to pick their poison. Good luck trying to figure out how to stop both of them. I think that this dual threat situation is too much for the Minnesota defense. Derrick Henry rolls.
Yeah, initially I thought the Vikings would keep it rolling, and then I saw the J.J. McCarthy alter ego thing, and I thought, oh, Ravens are winning this ball game, and it's partly because of the defense, too. Kyle Hamilton, he's Mr. Fix-It. When you have an issue on your defense, you just, hey, Kyle, can you go fix everything for us? Last year, it was backing him up, having him play deeper. Suddenly the pass defense is better. This year, it's putting him closer to the line of scrimmage. In the first 5 weeks of the season, the Ravens were dead last in terms of EPA per play allowed on the ground. Like the worst run defense in the league. Since they moved them up the last 3 games, they're third. It can't be all that simple. Roquan Smith getting healthy and playing really well is a huge part of it too. But man, Kyle Hamilton is so valuable for this team, and I think he'll make the Vikings one-dimensional.
And more valuable, again, we're having fun with the J.J. McCarthy alter ego thing because it's fun.
9?
Yes, 9.
Let's call him 9.
Yeah, 9.
9.
Summoning the evil energy from his timeout being injured. The Ravens and Vikings projected to be one of the highest scoring games of the week, according to our friends at Caesars. Let's take a look at the highest scoring ones. The Bengals are on a bye, so for the first time they're not on this graphic. The Bills, Dolphins, Lions, Commanders, Rams, Niners, Ravens, Vikings right there at 49 points. Falcons, Colts, and Patriots, Buccaneers rounding out the highest totals of the week. It's time for 2-Minute Drill. Presented by the Wells Fargo Active Cash Credit Card. Allow us to make some quick picks for you. The Lions and Commanders, Marcus Mariota starting for the injured Jaden Daniels. Cynthia, your Lions have lost 2 of their last 3. What did they do here?
a touchdown win, 28-21. Let's talk about Amon-Ra St. Brown in this matchup. Well, the Commanders defense, let's just say they're giving up like all of the yards per carry. It's over 8.5, yards per reception. And I'm looking at Amon-Ra St. Brown and I'm thinking, okay, Johnny Morton taking a little heat from not being able to get it going last week. And you know what happens when they bounce back? Just go to your best receiver. Let 14 do the work. And I think that's what will happen in this matchup. It's such a great one from the standpoint of who's going to catch the passes. I think you could have a lot of fun with maybe even another Jameson Williams touchdowns as well. But Amon-Ra St. Brown, big difference maker in this one.
Yeah, we're all with you with the Lions. Let's go to the Cardinals and the Seahawks. Seattle has won 3 straight. Do they make it 4, Greg?
They absolutely do. I think it'll be tougher than that 6.5 points maybe indicates. Cardinals keep it close, but ultimately they win in part because of their new addition, Rashid Shaheed. Love what he has done as a New Orleans Saints and love that he's adding to a team that already led the league in air yards per attempt.
Woo.
Here's an outrageous stat for you. Rashid Shaheed is the leader in all of NFL history in terms of average yards of scrimmage touchdowns, as long as you got 10. His average touchdown is over 47 yards. That is just outrageous explosion, and I don't think the quarterbacks in New Orleans have really fully taken advantage of it. I think Sam Darnold will. So I just don't want him scoring any short touchdowns and ruining that number. Only 50-plus yard touchdowns for Rashid Shaheed.
Better than Mel Gray in that category. And his numbers, if you go look them up, were absolutely bananas. I'll take the Jags and the Texans. C.J. Stroud, unfortunately, out for this one. So Davis Mills will start, and that's a big factor in why I'm taking the Jacksonville Jaguars, 14-12. I would like to discuss Travis Etienne with you. You may look at the stat sheet from his game against the Raiders and think 22 carries for 84 yards was okay. He broke 9 tackles to get 84 yards. 43 of his 84 yards were after breaking tackles in a game the Jags barely won. I think he will also contribute in a narrow win in the division, as I'm all alone taking the Jacksonville Jaguars. When we come back, Caleb Williams and the Bears are fascinating. Are they good? Are they bad? Does anybody know anything? The Monsters of the Midway are 5-3 and have a big date with Jackson Dart and the Giants. Who's got the edge? We'll tell you when we come back on Game Day View. Snooze off, game on. The NFL takes the field in Berlin for the first time as the Falcons square off against the Colts in a historic early morning showdown. Get ready to wake up and watch, because here our stars come out in the morning. It's Sunday Morning Football, Sunday 9:30 a.m. Eastern, only on NFL Network and streaming on NFL Plus. Subscription required for NFL Plus. Visit plus.nfl.com for terms. It is time for more or less. We have acquired our foam fingers here on Stage 5, so we will discuss some player props for the Falcons-Colts game in Berlin. First up is Cynthia Freeland. Bijan Robinson limited to just 46 yards last week on the ground. Does he go over 67?
Well, he's got some weird splits, but I do think he goes over that number in this matchup. I'm looking at the opportunity against the Colts now, and I'm watching what Michael Penix has done. And on third down, he's averaged 6.4 yards to go, and he's throwing behind the sticks. It's just making no sense. So run the football more, use your guy. I think it's more than 68 rushing yards. Again, the splits are weird. I feel better with scrimmage yards, but we'll go with rush.
All right, let's go to Greg Rosenthal. More or less than 93 rushing yards for Jonathan Taylor.
The Steelers had a great plan to stop him. I do not think the Falcons will be able to have that same plan. So I am going more than 93.5 rushing yards. The thing with Jonathan Taylor, he only needs to have 1 or 2 big runs to get over this number. That's the type of explosion that he has. The second level blocking by the Colts has been great. Not great on defense, stopping the run for the Falcons all year. So yes, in Berlin, where my dad was born.
Woo!
Wasn't there long, a little longer than Cynthia will be there this weekend. But yes, Jonathan Taylor, over.
All right, let's go to the Falcons again. Drake London put on a clinic last week against the Patriots. The number here is 70 receiving yards, and I will go more. I think that the Falcons will need to throw. I don't think that Sauce Gardner is necessarily going to be any concern, because the Falcons do 2 things: be befuddling and throw the ball to the outside to Drake London, where that's just where it's going. Sometimes it feels like you could cut out large portions of the field and the Falcons would still look the exact same. So, yeah, I think more than 70 for Drake London. And a reminder to everybody to get up early Sunday morning and also set your lineups to watch Falcons and Colts live from Berlin. Kickoff at 9:30 a.m. Eastern. Then next week, catch the Commanders and the Dolphins from Madrid. You can watch both games on NFL Network as well as NFL Plus.
Williams slings it. Loveland bangs off his man. He's going to score. Oh, my. Colston Loveland in a jaw-dropper. 58 yards on the catch and run from the rookie. And another meltdown by the Cincinnati defense. This is one of the craziest games we have seen in the NFL in recent memory.
It's time for What's Ahead, presented by Credit One Bank. Giants Bears at Soldier Field. Chicago coming off of that wild game with the Bengals. Jackson Dart is must-see TV, but did you see the Bears last week? I believe it's another score fest. I've got 31-29 because a lot like the Bengals defense, and shout out to the fan that said that they won't miss tackles. Defense will. The Bears are non-standard as well. They do fun stuff. Caleb Williams is at his best when the play is breaking down, and against a defense that's pretty inconsistent in New York. They're rough against the run. They're really bad against deep passing, have been for a couple of years now. I feel great about this, even though my score is razor close. The Bears narrowly winning 31-29.
I have a little bit more of a comfortable win there. I have the Bears winning 27-22. And I've made a promise. I'm going to keep talking about running outside on this Giants defense until they improve it. So let's just do that again, because Kyle Monangai showed us that if it's him getting the start, or no matter who's playing running back for the, I think if Greg were playing running back for the Bears.
Oh, Greg's getting yards, baby.
He's getting, you know where he'd run? To the outside. You know why he'd run to the outside? Because the Giants are giving up like historic numbers to the outside. If you're looking at every metric that matters, all of the explosive plays, all of the yards after contact, all of the yards before contact, all of the rushing yards over expected, just anything that you can imagine. The number of last, or the one where the Giants are the most generous, here's a gift. Just run to the outside against us. We're actually not going to try to stop you. So until they do that, I promise you, I'm going to keep talking about that and whoever the Giants play.
This is my week. This is my week to shine. I know DeAndre Swift is coming back from injury, but Ben Johnson put me in the backfield. Anyone that runs behind Darnell Wright at right tackle, and this improving offensive line is going to be absolutely fantastic. This right tackle is turning into one of the biggest playmakers on the team. It's not often we're talking about the big guy up front, but he is just putting people into the dirt, and sometimes these people have families. Darnell, I mean, be easy on the guy. It is really impressive to see a plan come together and a coaching staff really improve on the talent that was already there. And that's what I think that's happened for Darnell Wright especially. And I hope this is the one that I'm looking at. Watch out. By the way, Caleb, on that game winner, that's an absolutely ridiculous throw for a guy who doesn't always hit it right on his back foot. I mean, not many quarterbacks can make that throw. So way to go, Caleb.
And way to go, Greg, in getting the spot shadow highlights on a tackle, not in draft season. Like, it's like I'm like Pavlov's dog. It's making me think about draft boards, getting everybody ready. That's why you take somebody like Darnell, right? A big part of that Bears game coming up. We're not just monsters of the midway. We're at the midway point of the season, so it's time to reassess. We've learned a lot these past 9 weeks. So we're giving you our updated picks for who's going to win MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, and more. And we will give those to you when we come back. You're watching Game Day View. With NFL Plus, keep the NFL in reach. Stream live, local, and primetime games on mobile during the regular and postseason. NFL Network, including 3 more exclusive live games this season, live game audio, and more. With NFL Plus Premium, get more football with NFL RedZone, game replays, and NFL Pro. Sign up today at plus.nfl.com/network. Terms and conditions apply. We are officially at the halfway mark of the season, so it's time to forecast who we think is going to walk away with some hardware at the end of the year. Let's start with MVP. Cynthia, as well as I, would like to side with Matthew Stafford on this. But Greg, you're going with one Patrick Mahomes.
I am, because this is a predictive thing we're doing.
Yes.
We're not saying so far. And I think Patrick Mahomes is the best player I've ever seen come into the league. And I'm a loyal guy. I've been married 17 years. I've been at NFL Network 13 years. And I picked Patrick Mahomes before the season. Nothing that he's done so far would make me move off of that pick. In fact, the offensive line, the weapons around him, the fact Josh Simmons, by the way, is back with the team, so that's good news for the offensive line, all makes me think that by the end of the year, he's going to have numbers that are just undeniable, and they're going to win a lot of games in the end. So you just got to go with the younger guys. You know, he's the younger, better version of Stafford. Sorry.
Why are you saying sorry?
So to clarify, this is not a should, this is a will.
This is a will.
This is a will.
Who will win MVP end
Not
of the
a
year?
should. Just gotta clarify.
Put it down.
As we go
I
to-
also answered it as who will.
Okay, so all wills, no shoulds here. Let's move
Right.
to Defensive Player of the Year. We've got different picks. You like Greg's good friend Nick Benito. So
Well, number one, anyone who makes fun of Greg, we're pals on this one. But Nick Benito is making a very strong case for the award with his pressure rate, up there. With the sacks, up there. With his ability to just absolutely crush the hopes of quarterbacks. And Greg, you know, that does help a little bit. Like, if you tweet at Greg, we're going to put you on the show and we're going to love you a ton. I also like his grill, which is really fun.
Yeah.
And look, I'm kind of being silly here. It's his play on the field that I think has really stood out. This is obviously a very good defense. They might go, you know, wire to wire pretty much, being a top 3 defense in pressure rate, and in large part because Benito with Zach Allen, with all these things working together, but he's kind of the straw that's stirring the drink. So, and he makes fun of Greg, so we like that too.
yes, always a hit on this particular stage. I'll take the last one, Offensive Rookie of the Year. Greg's going with T-Mac. Cynthia and I are going with Emeka Egbuka, because what a pairing he has been with an aggressive quarterback like Baker Mayfield. And I know you may be saying, Patrick, this is will, this is not should. And Jackson Dart plays quarterback. Yes, I understand all of that, but I do think we go back to remember the C.J. Stroud, Puka Nacua discussion? And all the things that Puka would ultimately have to do. I think going back and looking at this and the way that they're playing, he's not just getting tight window targets, he's actually catching them as well. I've got Emeka Egbuka to win this.
It also really helps if you make the playoffs, right? Yes. Because when you vote on it is the end of the regular season, typically. So that's why, to me, Emeka Egbuka is the one.
You know what else would help?
What?
Knowing, like I do, that T-Mac is going to have about 800 more yards this season and finish up with 1,300 and take this award in the end.
He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing, folks. Here's a look at the current favorites for a majority of the season-long awards.
Oh,
Josh
didn't
Allen,
take any of them.
plus 175. Micah Parsons, there is Jackson Dart, right along with his teammate, Abdul Carter.
That's terrible.
And Shane Steichen for the
No,
Coach of the
if
Year.
you're out there, voters, like Dart should not be the favorite. He shouldn't win. I don't think Carter should be the favorite either.
But that's the thing.
Yeah.
He plays quarterback, and that's what all these awards are for, apparently, quarterback. It's time for quick picks as we make some more quick picks here on Game Debut. The Browns and Jets are at MetLife. Gang Green went a little wild at the trade deadline. What takes place in here?
Well, the Browns, they're going to win the football game 21-14. I have not just a prime number here, but a pretty significant
I'm numbered by a touchdown.
A touchdown. You know what? Things are a little messy out there in New York, yeah? You don't think so? Okay, but Quinshon Judkins has been pretty great. If you're looking at the opportunity to get yards after contact, let me introduce you to a guy who's got 96% of his yards after contact, second most in the league. He has 4 rushes of 30-plus yards. That's tied for most in the league. The Jets, Quinnen Williams isn't there to stop him. Do you guys know that? When a player gets traded away, they don't actually still play that week.
That's fair, but Patrick made a very inspiring speech on NFL Daily that the Jets were going to be like the Cleveland baseball team in Major League. And that honestly is
you know what? I don't know if anyone on those teams have seen that movie because it might be a little before their time, but they don't get to play the player that they traded
But
away.
that's why Justin Fields is going to go on there.
You know Myles Garrett's still there, right?
Yeah, he is. And there's only one thing left to do. Well,
win the whole thing.
win the whole thing. I'll take the Saints and the Panthers. No, the Panthers shocking the world last week in Lambeau. Do they keep it going here, Greg?
They do, but I was interested to see that the Panthers are favored for the first time all season, and it's by 5.5 points. So I do think the Saints keep it closer, but let's give some love to the Panthers. First of all, have they had a video clip on this show all season? I don't even know. Their defense certainly hasn't, and you know what? They're mixing up their coverages better each and every week. I think they're building. They've had some good continuity in terms of Ejiro Evero being there as their coordinator, and they have two good players. So what you're seeing here is J.C. Horn, who is turning into an all-pro type of cornerback, and then Trevon Moehrig, who's been a really good free agent pickup, making a lot of plays in coverage and near the line of scrimmage, kind of like the NFC's Kyle Hamilton. He's not that guy, but he's that style of player, and it's one of the reasons why they are over 500 now. So let's go Panthers.
Yeah, a nice season for the folks in Carolina. Let's go to the Bills and the Dolphins. Buffalo coming off a big win over the Chiefs. I think they eked this one out, actually, 27-25. I have a closer score because I would like to discuss Jalen Waddle and the opportunity against this Buffalo Bills secondary that looked incredible. Maxwell Harrison has come over and fixed everything against Kansas City, where maybe the abilities of the Kansas City receivers making moves, getting open, doesn't necessarily measure up to the teams that have been able to cause problems for Buffalo. I think Jalen Waddle in maybe one of his last games with Tua at starting quarterback perhaps has a good opportunity here, but we're all on the Bills. When we come back, it's our favorite time of the week. It's time for Write This Down. We're dishing out our favorite player props for Week 10. Greg and I have been hot and on fire. The one place where recently we've been beating Cynthia. Nowhere else. We'll see what we all pick when we come back on Game Debut. Snooze off, game on. The NFL takes the field in Berlin for the first time as the Falcons square off against the Colts. Get ready to wake up and watch because here our stars come out in the morning. It's Sunday morning football, Sunday 9:30 a.m. Eastern, only on NFL Network and streaming with NFL Plus. Subscription required for NFL Plus. Visit plus.nfl.com for terms. Get a pen and paper. It's time to write this down as we have for you some prop predictions for Week 10. And starting us off, Greg Rosen.
I've hit 3 in a row. I'm going to make it 4 with Davis Mills. And that inspired laughter in our production meeting. I believe in Davis Mills. He started a lot of games early in his career, and I believe in the matchup against the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think getting ready to start. He hasn't started in about 3 seasons, but they trusted him enough that they gave him a long-term extension because they like him, because he helped them win a game that actually they didn't want to win, at least the ownership didn't, and that wound up getting him C.J. Stroud. And you know what? We had a big conversation about necks last week, and I just got to say, I'm sticking my neck out for this game, and I don't think Davis Mills can be overlooked in any conversation, including about neck.
He has an epic neck, that's for sure. All right, I need to get back on the right side of good here, and that is with Saquon Barkley to have more than 2 receptions. So at least 3.
Overlooked. It's crazy.
What?
I'm sorry.
The neck stuff?
No, Greg had a one-liner there. It was
What did you
good.
say?
It stuck my neck out.
You stuck your. Okay, it was great. A good dad joke. We love it. All right, Saquon Barkley, more than 2.5 receptions, so he's going to catch at least 3 balls in this matchup. Saquon has a good neck, too. He doesn't want to be left out of this neck conversation. Maybe not an epic neck, but a very good one.
Yeah, you know, it helps. You have good form on all your exercises. And a guy who got a lot of exercise over on our show, NFL Fantasy Live, which you can see weeknights at 6 o'clock.
Oh, there you go.
Time on NFL Network. We have a stat for the Cardio King. We crown them. An incredible number for Rome Odunze last week. He ran 2,009 yards, had 0 catches. I think he will have 53, more than 53 yards against the Giants. For Cynthia Freeland and Greg Rosenthal, I'm Patrick Claybon. Thanks for watching Game Debut. See you next week.